Hey everybody, it's Shaman Sister Sin, and you're listening to the Meditations and More podcast brought to you by BetterHelp.com and LittleShaman.org. That's me, Little Shaman. Today I wanted to talk to you about accepting that someone in your life is a narcissist. This is something many people struggle with, so I thought we could talk about it on the show today. If you're listening to this, you probably believe, or at least suspect, that someone in your life could be a narcissist. You may have heard this word somewhere and decided to look into it. Maybe a friend went through something similar and suggested it, or maybe a therapist mentioned it. Either way, you've been looking into it, and now you are seeing that everything you learn about this matches your experience. While there is usually initial relief that this thing has a name and you're not crazy, this is often replaced by sadness and anxiety or even denial when, upon looking into treatments for pathological narcissism, people find that there really aren't any. The relief that it now has a name and can therefore be addressed evaporates, and people are faced with the fact that this is a very serious problem that has no solution. This is the unfortunate reality. The prognosis for pathological narcissism is extremely poor. Science has been looking for treatments for it since the 1800s, and they continue to do so through to this day. They've not found one. The Cochrane collaboration has commissioned 2 separate reviews of the evidence for treatments regarding NPD. In both of these cases, initiatives were discontinued after they made no progress for over a year. There are no effective treatment strategies for this, and there is no cure. It all sounds very hopeless, and that's because it is. As of right now, no successful treatment for pathological narcissism exists. This is often devastating for people who have been holding out hope that somehow things with this person or this relationship can improve, that they can change. The truth is, though, that was always the case. Many people just don't want to accept it. There is no therapy or treatment modality in the world that can change somebody who doesn't want to change or who doesn't think they have a problem. The idea that getting someone into a therapist's office is somehow going to fix that is understandable, but it's almost tragically misinformed. Pathological narcissism is a disorder that tells people they don't have a disorder, and this is extremely difficult to break through. Of course it is. Regardless of the fact that pathological narcissism creates defense mechanisms that literally keep this information from a person's consciousness, telling someone that the way they think, perceive, react to, and deal with just about everything is wrong just defies credibility. And even if they did somehow believe that, understand what it means, and want to change it, many narcissists do not possess the tools necessary to do so. Remember, pathologically narcissistic mindsets, functions, and behaviors don't exist in people because they've simply chosen to lack the fundamental skills and abilities that they're lacking. These things exist because narcissists are lacking these things in the first place. They have always been lacking them, and so they have always had these parallel or replacement skill sets and abilities instead. Telling someone to stop mimicking other people and derive their identity from within themselves makes no sense to them. Telling someone to stop mirroring and display actual empathy makes no sense to them. Telling someone to stop splitting and look at the whole person makes no sense to them. They believe that is what they're doing because they've never done things any other way. This is the way their brain works. It's not a choice. Their behavior is a choice, and that's why there's no legal or moral excuse for abuse from a narcissist, but the way their brain works is not something they're choosing. As an aside, many people ask where the line is between mental illness or disorder and abuse. The line is where the person makes a conscious choice to do something they know is not okay. Narcissists know the difference between right and wrong. They know what abuse is. They justify their behavior with a Machiavellian ends justify the means type of mentality, but this doesn't mean that they don't know they're doing something that's not okay. Believing they are under attack from other people, believing that they're worthless, and carrying around toxic shame are not things narcissists are choosing. Reacting to these distorted perceptions or emotional injuries with trying to harm the other person is absolutely a choice that they are making. They don't have to do that. They could stop themselves. They are choosing to do these things and justifying it by saying that the other person deserves it, or that they brought it on themselves for hurting the narcissist's feelings or for not complying with what they want. That is what makes it abuse. It's a conscious choice. Even if they are completely empathy deficient and don't have a true understanding of why it's wrong, they still know that it's not considered okay to do. If you tell a 4-year-old that they can't have any cookies until after dinner, they don't need to know why they're not allowed to know that they're not allowed. Realizing that someone you care about is pathologically narcissistic can be really difficult for people to accept. Many people remain in relationships with narcissists for years, trying and trying to get through to this person and make them understand that not only are they hurting other people, but that their own life would be better if they will just listen. This is understandable, but it's pointless. They don't want to listen. They don't want to hear that they have some kind of terrible problem, and they certainly don't want to have to acknowledge that that's true. When people find themselves in this situation, it's important to ask yourself what you're really trying to do. Because, of course, you're trying to repair your relationship with this person, whether it's your mother or your husband or a friend or whoever it is, but what are you really trying to do? Why is this so important to you that you're dealing with abuse and disrespect, that you're continuing to try to convince this person, even after they've made it crystal clear that they're not interested in doing what you want or listening to what you have to say? What is this really about for you? What is it that you are really trying to accomplish, and why? Because pathological narcissism is a problem without a solution, many people find it very hard to accept that their loved one is a narcissist, because accepting this means admitting that this is all there is. It's all there ever will be. It's not going to get better. It may even get worse. It means people are not going to get what they want, what they've been waiting for and working toward, what they feel they deserve. And even worse, for some people it feels like they've wasted their time. If this is really all there is, if it never gets any better, then what was I doing all this time? The pain associated with this can be significant. People also sometimes feel foolish, like they've been tricked, and then their egos get involved. Nobody who sees it that way wants to acknowledge the reality of the situation. As the author Mark Twain famously said, it is easier to fool people than it is to convince them that they've been fooled. There are many, many reasons people find it difficult to accept that a loved one has an incurable, untreatable disorder. However, if a person is ever going to find any peace or ever be able to move on, the reality of the situation must be accepted. If you find that you're stuck, you're probably having trouble accepting something. Try to figure out what it is and why it's so difficult to accept. Look beyond the surface reasons and try to see what's really going on. Do you believe that the inability to reach this person or succeed at this relationship means something about you, or to you, or for you? Are you afraid of something? Are you avoiding something? Are you trying to prove something? Is this about an old wound, something you've never really connected to this situation before now? What's really going on here? Inside the answers to these questions lie the keys to understanding what this is really about, so that you can accept the reality of the situation. Once you can truly understand that the narcissist behavior is about them and your behavior is about you, you can break the chains of guilt, shame, inappropriate responsibility, or whatever else is shackling you, so that you can free yourself from the situation. It all starts with acceptance. I hope this clears a few things up for you. As always, I look forward to your comments, questions, and suggestions, so please keep those coming. I take appointments online, over the phone, via text, via messenger, via email, and through Skype. So if you're interested in speaking with me one-on-one, you can visit littleshaman.org to do that. I do video Q&As, so if you're interested in asking me a question and receiving a video response, you can visit littleshaman.org to do that. I teach workshops, seminars, and clinics several times a year. So if you're interested in seeing what we're running this month, you can visit littleshaman.org to do that as well. You've been listening to the Meditations and More podcast, brought to you by betterhelp.com and littleshaman.org. That's me, the Little Shaman. May the Great Spirit bless you and have a wonderful day.